Alrighty, and here's the video review for the Platinum Edition Grimlock versus Bruticus set. It is a shared exclusive with BBTS, and I'm assuming Amazon, since the other ones were. But yeah, Big Bad Toy Store is where I know you can get it. It is Grimlock versus Bruticus in this giant box. It is labeled on the side that it is number 4 of 30 from the Thrilling 30 series. Maybe it's Grimlock 4 and Bruticus is 5, or is just this set one of the things? But it's a big giant box. It's got a little window box. You lift it up, and you get Bruticus and Grimlock in one set. I think it's $99.99 for the set. I'll double check that. But and you're pretty much getting the San Diego Comic-Con Bruticus colors in there, and then a Grimlock with some gold. You can see the gold chrome on him there. We won't focus too much on the box. Just want to show that off. We'll go ahead and get them out of there, and then we'll really get under the hood and show you what's up in the box. And here we are out of the box. Now, like I mentioned, he's a little mistransformed. You can do some alternate transformations. We'll see that in a minute. But Bruticus, I'm not going to get too in-depth on. I'm not going to pull him apart and transform everything, because he is essentially the San Diego Comic-Con version, which I've already reviewed. The paint apps are exactly the same. If you stand them up next to each other, and go ahead and get Grimlock out of the way, you can see they're practically identical. The only real differences between the two are very slightly. There's a very slight swirl to Swindle's plastic versus the flat beige of this one. You'll see that you can kind of see a little bit here. The plastic on Blastoff in the Platinum Edition is a slightly lighter brown than this, and what you're seeing here is not just the lighting of the room where he's over on this side. It is a slightly lighter beige versus the kind of orangey brown or the reddish brown of Blastoff. A very, very slight difference. But it's, again, the paint apps are exactly the same on that. The red on the guns here is a little different. The little red paint right here versus the red paint here. And you may not even be able to see that in the video. It really is just very, very slight variances. And Brawl here is a slightly shinier green. It's the same shade, but it has a little bit more reflection to it. It's a slightly smoother green. And again, same with the Blastoffs. A slightly different shade of plastic. Very, very slightly different shade of plastic on the arm. But otherwise exactly the same. And Onslaught looks identical. There might be a very slight shade difference in the two of them, but otherwise exactly the same. And again, the paint apps are exactly the same. The applications of the paint are the same colors, same shades, in the same places, just in some cases on very slight variations on the shade of plastic between the two of them. So if you were missing out on the SDCC version, if you wanted the Comic-Con version from last year and regretted not getting it, or just wish you had it but didn't want to pay what the prices were going for on that, here's a great chance for you to get this, because like I said, it's $100 for the set. And you get him and Grimlock for way cheaper than you can get the Comic-Con version for, at least as far as I know. So, yeah, that's why you should get it for Bruticus. Now, with Grimlock, right off the bat, you're going to notice some very obvious differences. The biggest one being that the Grimlock in this set, you can see, has that shiny gold chrome versus the original retail release, which has the beige. And this is a personal preference. The chrome is shiny, it pops, it's a little bit yellowy. Everywhere else, though, it's the same type of beige paint apps and plastic. You will see the paint apps are a little bit different. Here, they left open some of the technical detailing here on the tail, whereas on the original they painted the whole thing solid, just to show those tails off. So some slight differences in the paint app, but for the most part, the same. You also notice on the Platinum Edition, there's some red detailing up here versus the original edition, which is not. So you got a couple extra paint apps. They've darkened the black around the Autobot symbol on the head is a little darker on the Platinum Edition versus the thing, and that really makes the symbol pop there when you light it up versus the original, where it kind of, well, I guess that shows up pretty well too. But as you can see, yes, he does still retain the light up breath gimmick. This one I am going to transform just to show you the differences in robot mode, because again, with the Bruticus, it's almost exactly the same aside from some slight paint or some slight plastic variations. With Grimlock, it actually is a much different story. And if you give me just a second, I'm not going to make you sit through the transformation again, so give me just one second. And here they are in robot mode. There's the difference. You can see the difference right off the bat. Again, paint apps are the same. Plastic colors are almost exactly the same. I'm not noticing any sort of visible difference to my eye in the gray plastic, but you can see the paint. Again, here they've knock them over there. The paint on the bottom of the legs on the original, they've painted the entire bit with that goldish paint. Here they have left that vent open, so a little bit more detail sticking out or popping out on this one. The abs are a slightly brighter silver on this one, which is just silver paint versus the chrome up here. And again, the chrome is very obviously different. So it really depends. Like if you want a more G1 looking with the shiny gold chest, that's the one that comes in the platinum version. And again, you're kind of getting them as a bonus with the Bruticus for about the price that the SDCC one went for, I think originally on the floor. One other thing you'll notice, the paint apps, while the same on the shield in the same places, it's a slightly more silver. It's a lighter silver color than the dark, almost kind of gunmetal gray of the original shield. And same on the sword. The paint app on the sword is just a little bit more silvery and slightly brighter than the one on the original retail release. Popped his arm off here. There we go. And again, the silver detail in the elbow is painted. It's a red paint. The red paint app is the same on both, and then they've added the extra little silver detailing inside the elbow there on the Platinum Edition. So a much bigger difference between these two than the two Brutici. So yeah, like I said, if you want the SDCC Bruticus colors and the and I grabbed, that's how close they look. I grabbed the wrong one over here. You can get this set. It's the Platinum Edition Grimlock versus Bruticus set. Like I said, the gold on that Grimlock really pops. It's really nice. And again, it's a shared exclusive with Big Bad Toy Store.